Hey y'all, cooking, cutting up, keeping it real in my kitchen for dinner. It's gonna be my Aunt Cathy's chicken pie. So chicken pie is one of those things that when we have family gatherings, I go to that first. Did Aunt Cathy make the chicken pie? So this is her recipe. I am doing a little bit of a shortcut. I've got a rotisserie chicken, and I'm actually making this to take to dear friends of ours. We feel like he's our other son. Adam and his wife, Mackenzie, have had their second baby. And so I'm taking them a chicken pie for their dinner. And so I started out with a $7.99 at Food Line rotisserie chicken. And I'm just taking the skin off. And listen, you can boil a chicken and, you know, debone it and take the skin off and all that. I just decided to do this shortcut with this particular recipe. But you are going to need a whole chicken, okay? And I'm just going to debone that. There's something very satisfying about making something for somebody else that you love. And we do dearly love Adam and Mackenzie and their little family. Adam grew up with my oldest son, Drew, and he's AKA the favorite son. And not that he's the favorite, that's what the Cutting Up crew named him from my cooking blog on Facebook. Anyway, Gun, we call him Gun. He grew up working on the farm and during the summertime and playing baseball and football with Drew. And so I feel like he's partly ours, and his parents are good friends of ours. And we always said when they were growing up that if they're at your house, you discipline them for what they do wrong. And if they're at my house, I'll do the same. And we call them out, and they've turned out to be pretty good boys. They're grown men now. But anyway, that's what I'm making it for. So a lot of love goes into making chicken pie in my book. It doesn't matter if you get a little bit of the skin in there from this rotisserie chicken. It'll give some flavor. It won't hurt anybody. It'll just add some flavor to the chicken. So I'm going to debone the chicken. And I bought these yesterday. They were in the refrigerator, and they're actually easier, in my opinion, to debone because you're not trying to debone a hot chicken. You know what I'm saying? They're completely cold. And the fat kind of separates, so that's kind of nice too. My Aunt Cathy is my dad's sister, and there was 8 of them. They grew up on a dairy farm in Chatham County. And so she learned from one of the best, my Granny Engel, to cook. And you know, back then when you had brothers and sisters and you were on a farm and everybody had to eat, somebody had to do the cooking, and somebody had to do the killing of the chicken and all that. I'm just saying, that's back in those days. I have no doubt that my granny could probably wring the neck on a chicken with no problem, hands down. Make sure you don't put any bones in there. And I'm using a 13 by 9 inch disposable pan, so that way, if you're taking it to somebody, they don't have to worry about getting you your pan back or your dish back. Here's the white meat. Let me get that off. And you really got to get your hands in a chicken so you can feel where the gristle is and feel where the bones are, so you don't put those in your chicken pie. See there, I see a piece of gristle. Let me get that out. Because their little one, who's 2, will be eating this as well. Little Grace. So I don't want anything that would be a choking hazard for sure. If you follow this page and you have Granny's Farm to Table Cookbook, this recipe is on page 56, just so you know. I'm trying to tear this up small because a little one is going to be eating it. I've almost got all the meat off. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let me clear this off, give my hands a wash, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay. First off, we want to make the goodies that go over top of this, and that is going to be 1 can of cream of celery soup, 1 can of cream of chicken soup. Okay, let's put those into a mixing bowl. Let me grab a spoon. People make their chicken pies all different kind of ways, but this one is how our family makes ours, and I love this recipe. So 1 can each of cream of chicken and cream of celery. We're going to add to that 2 cups. Let me just make sure. 2 cups of chicken broth. And again, I cheated. I didn't boil my own chicken, so I have chicken broth that I bought at the store, like so. Let me grab a measure. We're going to do 2 cups of that. That is not the measure I wanted. Here we go. And of course, if you boil your own chicken, you'll have your broth in the pot. 2 cups chicken broth. Let me just double check here. 1 can, 1 can. I need some poultry seasoning. We'll grab some right here out of my cabinet. Here we go. I knew I had some. This recipe calls for 1, let's see, poultry seasoning to taste. So I'm just going to shake some in there. About a half a teaspoon or so. Salt and pepper to taste. Lord have mercy. I'm going to put a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper. You can always add more at the end, but you can't take it away. And we're going to double check the recipe. 2 cups of broth, 1 can of each. Cream of chicken, 1 cream of celery. Poultry seasoning to your taste, or sage, you can choose. Salt and pepper to taste. Okay, I'm going to pour that over this chicken. Okay, now in this dish, we're going to mix up the crust, and I'm going to take 1 stick, which is half a cup of margarine, and I'm going to melt it in the microwave. One stick. This is definitely a keeper here. Let me get that margarine. while that's doing its thing, we'll go ahead and measure up the buttermilk. We're going to use 1 cup of buttermilk, and I'm going to give this buttermilk a shake to get it blended up. You know, it settles at the bottom. So we're going to do 1 cup of that. Okay, 1 cup of buttermilk, 1 stick of margarine melted. Mix that together. And then we're going to add in 1 cup of self-rising flour. I'm running out of workspace. 1 cup. I'll just kind of shake that down, eyeball that. Okay, 1 cup, and then we're gonna pour this over the top. So that was a stick of margarine melted, or half a cup, 1 cup of buttermilk, and 1 cup self-rising flour, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Let me get that in here. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. You want to be careful with that because you don't want it to make a mess in your oven. Okay. And this is going over the top, and this is going to bake on 400 for 40 to 45 minutes. Let me get me. And that is what is for supper or dinner for 4 of our favorite people: Mackenzie, Adam, Grace, and Wyatt. Of course, Wyatt won't be eating this. He's a newborn. And that, my friends, is my Aunt Cathy's recipe for chicken pie. And I'm just going to spread this out, and it's going to go into a 400-degree oven, 45 to 50 minutes, depending on how your oven bakes. I'll show some pictures of it before the video starts and in the comments. Aunt Cathy's chicken pie. Give it a try. You will love it. Cooking, cutting up, keeping it real. Thanks for following along. If you love this, like, share, and comment. And we'll see you guys soon. Take care.